From the harbour lights of Carrick to the shores of far away, every heart beats Rangers, every soul will proudly say, we're the voices in the terraces, the hands that build the dream. Now the people own the Rangers, we're the lifeblood of the team. From Carrick to the mountains, to the cities around the globe, our colours fly together and the black and amber glows. We're the people's club forever, we'll sing it loud and true. Carrick Rangers owned by all, the best for me and you.
And there we go. Welcome back to another episode of the People's Club podcast. As always, bringing us in, Carrick Krogan. Thank you, my man. We can't get enough of those tunes. We talked about your new drop here last time, and as usual, we got to use the old staple for us bringing into the show. So thank you, Carrick Krogan. The link down below to his music. You know you want to listen. You know you like it. With us today, our good friend, known around here as the GM. It's Chris Lippett. What do you say, man?
I'm doing a very good job, am I? If I am, so how you doing, man? Got a couple Chris's here, so the show ought to be great.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that goes. Chris squared. Nice.
We're supposed to have some guest hosts too, if his stuff starts working, all the applications for the ISC, you know.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I mean, they might be bogging him down. We do. We got a special guest host today to march us through, but he's not with us right now. So we'll hope that whatever's going on over there, maybe weather. It may be weather. We'll have to see. But
probably raining.
Yeah, it could be. So with that, we're going to bring in our special guest today. So, Luker, if you would, please unveil our special guest. There he is. It is the one and only Gary Powers, the current leader, director, the man for the Spirit of 76 Club.
Senior Vice President.
Senior Vice President.
What a title.
Yeah.
CEO. Thank you for being here, my friend. And more than anything, thank you for staying up with us because it is late where you are.
Yeah, no worries. It's very good to be here. Thanks for asking me on. It's a privilege and I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. A bit of banter, a bit of chat.
Absolutely. Hey, we love it. We've mentioned it time and time again. We'd love to have these connections. And I mean, for those of you that don't know or maybe new, I know the campaign is still open through Michael was mentioning, again, very tentative, but mentioning maybe an April closing date for the campaign. But those of you investors that, may be new, one of the things that is cool to me about what we're doing is literally Gary is at midnight his time, and I am at 3 p.m. my time. We are spanning the globe up here in Arctic Antrim. And
it's
you, my friend,
bedtime, I'm telling you.
I was going to say, should be ready for bed.
Yeah.
Well,
it's good to be here.
Well, what we have, I mean, without having our other guest right now, we really can just jump right into it. We've got lots and lots to cover today. But the games, the week was exciting. I mean, since we took the Shield, I mean, the momentum is with us. Luker, I think we can move right on into our first highlight reel. At home against Portadown, we dropped the first. You guys see anything that stood out on that first goal?
Well, to be honest, my feed's a bit bitty, and I'm a bit disappointed because I'd actually missed this game. So I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but the score was the main thing, so that's okay. But yeah, so far I can't see much.
I don't know why this made the highlight. What do we got?
Yeah, I don't know why either.
There we go. I love this. I love that lift. That is like a heads-up play. Beautiful. Of course, the ricochet off of Danny Gibson, but I just loved it. Loved the lift.
What I will say is Danny Gibson's bang in form at the moment. I know I can't see the goals here, whatever, but he's playing with some confidence just now.
Oh, absolutely. And this is actually, I know those who are watching it are probably like, well, hang on a minute. So this is actually the second set of highlights.
Yeah.
Because this is actually against Bangor, yeah.
That was a great one. When he started this, for a big guy like that, he has. I mentioned it too when he was on. He has pretty decent footwork for a big guy.
Who is that?
Adam Lackey.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Touch at the beginning of that.
So shifting back to the right game here, it was Billy Joe Burns with that first goal. Second one, Mr. McKay.
Yeah. Come back to Lecky there. Lecky's made a big difference too. We were playing quite well in the early part of the season, but we weren't actually a threat up front. But he's come in, he stayed fit, and he's there. He's like a fox in the box. He's getting on the end of things. He's a nuisance for defenders. So he's made a hell of a difference. And him playing well and people running off him, the whole team sort of has fed off that.
Yep.
Yeah. There he is, right there.
And there he is. Yeah.
Good
Speak of the man. I think
that's what I mean. He's in the
6-yard
6-yard box there, and he's there. We were playing well, but there's nobody in the box at that high up to finish off chances before. So he's really hope he stays fit.
Yeah, he's made such a huge impact. I know Chris and I specifically have mentioned, early on, like when he was like getting healthier, and they put him out there for a little bit. Like he made such a big impact in such a short period of time.
Big change. It was actually a bit worried because he was injured most of last season. He came in this season with an injury as well. We were a bit skeptical, but by God, he's doing well now. He's made a big difference.
Yeah. You have to account for his aerial threat and spacing's a lot different when he's out there. One thing too, I know when things are going bad, everybody goes after Stephen Baxter, right? That's just a natural thing, but I got to give him a lot of credit. He's made an adjustment. I don't know if a lot of people picked up on it, but the way they're using Danny Gibson, aka Perkis, the way they're using him, I think they kind of changed the script a little bit, where you see they wanted to use him to get the ball to Lackey, to give some good service to him. And he's really thrived in the role. If you notice how he's been playing so much better the way they're using him.
Oh yeah, big time, yeah. Exactly. It all coincides with Lecky being there. Other players are playing better off him.
Yeah.
Because he's the focal point.
Yeah, and we were talking about like Baxter's comments on this game earlier. So one thing, talking to Gary last session, was I was a little concerned about playing on a couple of these pitches with the weather, the way that it was coming, and those types of things. And so, yeah, we had a rough first half, but the second half, he mentioned so many players and their fantastic execution during the second half of this game. But he didn't really mention Danny, and Danny got player of the match without a goal because he was so effective at his role. I mean, it was incredible. So
he was actually unplayable on Tuesday night. He really was. He was fantastic.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I think that what you said is we're seeing it. Not only is it the momentum, but these guys are playing to a different level, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Did I see? Hey,
Martin.
Well, we'll start with, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yay!
And you're moving too. You're not a statue. I can see you moving.
So apologies to everybody.
It's all right.
No worries. We're happy to have you. Tell us who you are and where you're at, Martin.
So good evening, everybody. Yes, I'm Martin Benson. So I'm dialing in from the UK, England specifically. A little place called Westham in between Preston and Blackpool. You can all look that up. I'm
by the way.
Yeah, this is it. You'll all have to come over from Belfast, won't they, and Carrick to come to Blackpool for the fun fair. Yeah, so my big thing at the moment is the 12th Ranger International Supporters Club. So yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit.
Yep.
So Martin, we were actually going to touch on that before we got into the next game, because we were going to talk to you about that early on. Just kind of a brief update about the launch with the ISC. What can you fill us in with?
So it's been a great response so far. We are up to 62 members now across 37 applications, covering 3 different nations so far. And we've got a nice mix. We've got 52 adults, 10 under 16. So we've got families, adults on their own there. We're in the process of just trying to coordinate with Michael about how we potentially try and do the AGM virtually as well as in person, as some of us will be over in Belfast for the owners meeting, which is when we're going to try and coordinate that with a bit of luck. So yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's so 52 members, so it's still growing from your last communication. That's good.
It is, yeah. And you know, the more, as I keep saying in the little WhatsApp group we've got currently, the more people we can get in, as Gary well knows, and we'll talk to Gary about, I'm sure, from his point of view, the more people you have in, the more you can do. And I think what we will bring in addition to what Gary's already and the guys over there already do is just a different angle and maybe a different way of doing the community stuff, which is really the important stuff, you know, along with the football on the pitch itself.
So
from our point of view, we're looking forward to working with you. You know, we're looking. I think there's obviously an avenue there for both clubs to work together. Obviously, have our separate identities, okay, but we can work together in some sort of collaborations or events or whatever, and fundraising. You know, all geared towards the same goal. So
absolutely,
yeah.
Gary, how many members does Spirit 76 have?
I'm not sure exactly what the figures are, but it's around about 50. You know, like our club was formed in 2007 with 15 of us, and it sort of stayed about 15, 20, 25 members for long enough. But this last 3 or 4 years, a lot of guys have come in, and it's starting to grow quite fast now, actually. So we're up to 50 now, and there's more and more people joining every week. You know, so that's good. You know.
So let's put a pin in it right here, boys, and get back to the games. Luker, you still got another game for us to cover? We went backwards a little bit. We covered Bangor first. So let's see if we got some Portadown information. Now that we got everybody together, let's talk about our team. Did everybody get to see this one? I know, Gary, you were saying you didn't get to see the other one.
No, sorry, it was the wrong way. I'm not getting this here feed coming through very well here, so I thought it was put down match before.
Oh,
okay. That's the one I missed.
Okay. Great save.
So, you know, but
yeah,
I heard all about it.
You know, Scott's confidence has been picking up the more he plays.
Yeah, Scott's doing very well.
I think the thing here was if we're being honest, we should have probably been 2 down before we scored. But I'm glad we weren't, and I'm glad we scored.
I did. All I got was the WhatsApp notifications, 1-0, 2-0, 3-0. Sure, this game's easy, you know. It's a strange old stadium. Well, not even called a stadium. It's a strange old ground, Shamrock Park in Portadown. They built this new stand about 20 metres behind the pitch for some reason. I'm sorry I can't comment, but I'm not getting the feed through very well. It's a bit bitty. So I can't really see what's happening.
That was a good reaction goal. That was a proper striker's goal, I thought, that one. You know, and they're the things that earlier in the season we weren't picking up on.
Right.
That's what I was saying earlier. I'm not sure if you're in it, Martin. He's made a big difference with being that striker in the focal point.
And this, for me, is where we've changed slightly.
Yeah. They're using
Wow.
And I think, if we're all being honest, and certainly from the international side, I think there was a feeling we were a bit long ball and nothing else. And, whatever's happened, the way Stephen's got the players playing now, whether it's a confidence thing, a time thing, or whatever, yes, we can revert to just hitting it long to Lecky if we need to, but there's a lot more continuity to play now.
Yeah, you would think of having Lecky up front, it would be a long ball tactic, but it's not. There's more to it than that now, as you say. In fact, I think last season was more long ball because we had O'Malley taking the throw-ins.
Yeah.
Every time I had the ball going for a throw-in in their half, it was a long throw-in into the box. That was all we were doing for a while.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
I didn't feel second half, although there was a lot of action down at our goal. I don't think Scott was overly pressurised. It was a decent bit of game management overall.
This type of football is so much better to watch too than just hitting it and running and chasing it on the wings. It's just so much better to watch.
It actually becomes, football as opposed to, oh man, I don't know what. Looks like developmental league stuff.
And what I thought was interesting here was we had these, the substitutions later on, and it really didn't, we just soaked up the pressure, and as I say, they had a few bits and bobs, but nothing that I felt Scott was tested with particularly.
Full time. We're done.
Boom. There we go. That's what I like to hear.
So we've seen both of them. We took 3 points away and we took 3 points at home. So we've proven it in both areas. Beautiful stuff. We can listen to, do you have what Stephen had to say for us, Luker?
Stephen, a 3-0 win over Portadown here this evening. Can I get your thoughts on the game, please?
It's a very pleasing performance from us today. It's really just carried a little sign of what we've been doing over the last 3 or 4 games. Real quality in our play. Box clever all around the pitch as regards to where we need to be at the right times in football matches. Taking the chances when they appear with clinical finishing and with people like Billy Joe Burns and Luke McCulloch, BBR today because we lost Jimmy with a knee problem last week, as you know. Just that quality in organisation and dealing with what's coming your way, because Portadown threw the kitchen sink at us in the second half, but we boxed it all off very, very well, very smartly, and just some of the desire in our play, the focus in our play has been outstanding, and that's what it takes. It's a big group effort. It's people putting their bodies on the line, putting their head on things that they have to, making sure we get over the line. So. But it didn't surprise me how well we've been playing. I came here today saying we've got to be confident in our own performance and not worry about opposition. We've got to do what we need to do, and because we were carrying that momentum with us, and we've been very good in the last few games. So it didn't surprise me at all that we've won this.
Well, that's quite a face. We'll take it.
You want to know I'm going to cup of soup afterwards.
Right, and then he just settle in and have a cup of soup. So we were talking earlier about the other statements that Stephen said, and they weren't quite as shining for the second game, the Bangor game, but nonetheless, some of the same things said for sure. So takeaways, Chris, what do you got for us?
You can see there's a lot more confidence in the squad. Momentum's been thrown around quite a bit. But another thing too, besides like I expounded on earlier, how they're using Danny Gibson differently now, which we know from that script change in the against the Cup game against Queens. It's just been adjustment by Baxter, and getting healthy is a really big thing. Some Crow came back because he likes to advance the ball for us. I was actually what's kind of funny is the other match that we didn't play as well that we won 3-2 against Bangor. That was kind of the Paul Heatley match. That, if you remember, that was a game that was suspended from when he got severely hurt. I was actually glad he was out for yellow cards because that's the way he gets a rest. I think some of the guys do need a rest. I do get concerned about, I want to see subs, not just in a blowout, but I like to see some subs because we do have an older squad. And it's going to be really interesting when we talk later about our next game, how we approach it with the roster.
Agreed. Older squad, and some really quality players coming into the team. Martin, what was your take?
I think what was interesting for me across the two games was the Portadown game. I think if we're being brutally honest, it's not a great place for Carrick, and to come away with the 3 points in the manner that we did, as I say, I think there were times there where we played long ball when we needed to, hold it up, get players behind, take your time. The goal from Danny, the third goal, to me showed the difference we're playing. But it showed that you can, and Stephen said it there. They threw the kitchen sink, great British expression there, at them, and they soaked it up. And the thing with the Bangor game for me was, to me, and I don't know how Gary feels. I'm sure he'll tell us in a minute. For me, that was a game we'd have lost a couple of months ago. We'd have capitulated it. From being one down, would have either got that one back and then gone down again. But we just kept at it. And yeah, it was scrappy. It was awful. We conceded some bad goals, all the rest of it. But they're the wins that get you into the positions you want to be in.
Right. Top six. Gary?
Yeah, well, again, I wasn't at the Portadown game, so I don't know much about that one. But the Bangor game, yes, it wasn't the prettiest game in the world. Obviously, it couldn't be because of the weather conditions. It was a really hard night, we all came back from that match frozen. But as Martin said, it's a game 1-0 up, and then 2-1 up, and they came back to 2 each. That's what I thought. Maybe 6 months ago or last year, we might have then went on to lose 3-2, 4-2, but we didn't. We battled in there. We got the goal to go 3-2 up again, and then we held it. And it was they look a lot. Apart from playing better football, we're talking about, we're actually looking a bit more solid as a team and a bit more, everybody knows what they're doing now. And then at right back, I have Mikey Pace coming in. He's come in the window, and he's been faultless. He's been absolutely excellent, and I think he's made a big difference too, because he's playing well. And then Kyle Cherry played against Bangor. I thought he was excellent too, and Snoddy didn't play. And Cherry comes in, you're not really losing much. So we do have a bit of depth as well there now to cover. And again, it's a good point about Heatley. Heatley missing that game is probably, I wouldn't say it's a good thing, but he's 39 or whatever it is. He's late 30s. He could do with the rest then again. He's probably glad he wasn't playing because it was a really hard night. So yeah, it was all very positive at the moment. So long may it continue.
Indeed. Just before, if I can dive in, sorry. I think what is really difficult for anybody who's not been to Taylor's Avenue or has only been in the summer, whatever, it's hard to describe what a night at Taylor's is like. You are really buffeted. The wind gets in very easily. The rain, it was quite fascinating because the take I got from that was the HTN feed. Quite a few people said early on, it was struggling. The rain was in, on the cameras, and the cameras for that feed are on the main stand side, which in effect is straight off the sea. Now the BBC feed, the highlights, that's on the other side of the ground. The camera's the other side of the ground. It's got its back in effect to the way the wind was blowing, and you didn't get the same effect, I didn't feel, on those highlights. It was very, very windy. I mean, I know I'm on the other side of the water from Gary, and it's been brutal at times over the last 7 days. So to even get the game on,
it hasn't stopped here for about 7 months. I was in the second half, whatever way I was sitting or standing, I literally my left side was frozen going home, but I didn't care because they won, so I didn't really mind, Yeah,
it's hard enough to play in those conditions. Holy moly.
Yeah, but going back to that it's actually a credit to the ground staff as well that our pitch is so playable, because every week you're seeing the Ballymena match, it's never on. The pitch is terrible. The National Stadium, Linfield, have a pitch inspection, get games called off, but our games are always on, So it's superb. Like.
I want to talk
so
about
a question. I was going to say a question in the same vein is what is the meaning of down the hill? Coming down the hill.
Well, it's got text there anyway. Our pitch is on a slope. You wouldn't actually see it, but from the top, when the camera looks at it from the top right up where the dugout is, that's our club. Down to the bottom left hand side, there's a 6 or 7 foot difference. So when you're playing down towards the town, it's going downhill.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I know that's like it sounded like it was like a regularly known thing, but not to us, obviously.
No.
So like, what the?
No. I think it's because the camera, they actually tilt the camera a bit to make it look straight.
Everybody runs slightly backwards as well when they're going down there. It is noticeable, though. Again, something the first time I went to Taylor's, I knew nothing about the ground when I went the first time. You can, when you're on one of the sides, you just start to get a feel for it. And, for those that don't necessarily know the way Gary's describing it, if you think of where you see the away fans a lot of the time, the stand, the end with the stand as opposed to the open end, that's where it goes down, isn't it, Gary?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Okay. Take it away.
When the pitch was bad, like 10 years ago, we had a terrible pitch, and that's always a quagmire, like a real march down that bottom end. It was hard to keep. Good, like. But all good now.
Go for it, Chris.
No, I was going to say a couple of things. Expound on what Martin said about this was these games would be kind of ones that we lost. You remember when things were going rough, we would have so many leads, and all of a sudden we would lose
100%.
a lead. Whereas you could tell there's just a difference now in that. But also, someone was going to notice, and maybe Gary can answer this. When I watch games in the EPL and Bundesliga, and then I watch our games, I mean, I don't know if it's more road games, whatever, but it seems like the fans have. I swear, I saw a kid in one of our players' ear flipping the finger at him and yelling at him one time. They're right there. I thought you weren't allowed to get that close to the action. I could never see that in another game. It's like he's trying to throw the ball in, and there's this kid I'm not going to do it, but he's giving the finger, and he's like saying something in his ear. It can't be pleasant, So I just thought that was weird that they could get that close.
That's just the way it is at the pitch, huh?
Normal, I guess.
Like commonplace.
Put the beer on the guy, why don't you? I thought it was just kind of weird.
There's been just picking up on that, Chris. There's been an interesting discussion. I'm lucky enough to be part of the Spirit group as well. Been a really interesting conversation about the drum and the kids, and is it good? Is it bad? How annoying is it? But you can hear on those highlight reels, you can hear them at it. And to have a group of youngsters, what are they, Gary? Probably all under 12.
Yeah, but 12, 13,
yeah.
Probably even anywhere between 8 and 12, somewhere there.
And they are the future of the club, in terms of, the support. They're the people that are going to help expand the attendance and all the rest of it. And credit to them, somebody actually said in the end, yeah, sometimes maybe you feel they're a bit annoying or whatever, but to stand there for 90 minutes the other night against Bangor in those conditions and keep banging that ruddy drum, credit to them,
That's all very well when you're winning, but see when you're getting beaten 2-0 and they're still banging it.
I can't imagine. Well, we're at a spot where we have a special guest that's going to come bring us some promotional consideration. Bring him in, Luker. You all know him as the winning Prince of Podcast. It's Uncle Rico. What do you got for us?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Rangers are coming off of a W, so it must be time for the points fairy. So today's episode of the People's Podcast is brought to you by Human Animal Cages. Does your son always sneak out at night to go canoodle with the girl next door? Does your daughter have just too much of her mother in her? Well, let me tell you guys about a product that I use personally called Human Animal Cages. Okay. It's one of the best in the business. It will keep their problems out of your space. Human Animal Cages, because why should their problems become yours? And guys, I'm in one of the Human Animal Cages right now, and there's a full moon out, right? It comes equipped with its own water dish, okay? Now, the pillows, I can't speak for the same. The pillows you have to get by yourself, but it's comfy, it's cozy. The kids, you can keep the cell phones away from them. They have enough space to do their homework, arts and crafts. It's totally non-threatening. It's a totally safe product. And I would absolutely like to thank the makers of Human Animal Cages for making such a product.
Thank you.
Can we get those at Walmart?
You can get them on Amazon, Temu, Emu, and I think Forever 21. So, guys, great show. Keep it up. I have to stay in here tonight because there is a full moon and it is cloudless. It's a cloudless sky. So keep up the good work. Go Rangers.
See you on
Rangers.
Amber.
And importantly, Gary and I are in talks with them about some, ISC or spirits related products to go on the side of these cages. So yeah.
Oh, nice. There we go. Way to dovetail. Way to segue. Nicely done. So, let's be real. We wouldn't be doing this without Bleacher Brothers. Thank you very much. Please visit our sponsors. So we're very much engaged in this Amber Army. If you want to be a part of it, the window is still open. You can still make an impact, make a difference. Still $200 buy-in, I believe, and we'd love to join you. There's a lot of people gathering in Belfast, but also Carrickfergus here in about a month, and they'd be happy to have you as well. So from there, let's talk about these next games coming up. So we've got another big week of 2 games, tons of opportunity for points, but the first one is an Irish Cup playoff. Oh my goodness, round 6 versus Coleraine. What do we got for that one there, Martin? What do you think?
This is going to be interesting how not necessarily we play it, but maybe Coleraine actually. This is a team that has got a real chance of finishing second, making Europe one way or another in the league. So I'm wondering if they may actually rest more players than we may consider. This is I remember Stephen saying right at the start of the season that he felt he had a group of players who were capable of winning cups. We've seen that already with the County Antrim Shield. I think Stephen, regardless of the points we need in the league. I think this is a game he will put out a strong side. Might be proven wrong, but that's my gut feel. Because if we win this one, you're really into the nuts and bolts of the competition then.
Yeah. I'm not actually sure that they will rest many players because I'm pretty sure they won't win the league. So they might be wanting to, second, but they'll want to win some silverware. So they'll be wanting to win the Irish Cup as well. But then again, so are we. We're hoping to win it. So, and how cool would it be to win the Irish Cup 50 years on from 76? It'd be absolutely fantastic.
Nothing better.
Exactly. Yeah. And our form in the last 3 or 4 weeks against decent sides shows that there's nobody to fear. So there's no reason why we can't go and beat Korean. So I think there'll be 2 teams who are both up for it, okay? And may the best team win. Well, that's a lie. May Carrick Rangers win.
What do you say, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to, like Martin was saying, I think a lot of it's going to depend on how both teams approach it. I mean, Colerane's got a spot locked. They're probably going to finish no worse than 4th if they want to tank, but they're going to probably finish 2nd. We need this. I mean, we could win this game, this cup stuff, and be an automatic qualifier, right? From what I understand, right? If we win this. So we may approach it different from that standpoint, because I know we're trying to finish in the top 6, but the Cliftonville having 3 games in hand is a bit of an issue. So that will depend a lot. We did go out and we're getting healthier. We did go out. One guy, I know I always joke about the GM thing, Chris, but Matthew Olasande, he's missed last couple games, except this last one he dressed, but he's been, I can't say much because of HIPAA laws, but he did get a pretty bad illness. It put him down for a couple games. This was somebody I think that was supposed to contribute to this club quite a bit, because you have Mikey Place. They're both 2 different styles at that position. One fits Northern Ireland better with the long ball and his service, but the other one brings something. Matthew brings something that we don't normally have, as you saw against Queens when he got drugged down and drew a penalty, which we don't see that very often. So with Mikey's versatility, that's something you're kind of hope for, where you can get some of the other guys like him, and maybe James can get a few minutes. You need to see some of the bench come in. I don't know if he'll take that approach or if he'll just go for it, and then Coleraine may take it. I hope they rest some guys. Colerane's a plus 30 goal differential. I mean, these guys, they have 2 scorers. Joel Cooper, who's got 17 goals, and we have nobody. We've been balanced with ours, with Lackey and Perkins lately, but and they got a guy, their striker, Matthew Chevelin. I don't know if I'm saying it right. He's got 15 goals. Definitely. So they got 2 threats, and I do know they're a pretty good pressing team. So I could see Burns getting a lot of pressure, and Mikey Place, who's been able to run a little bit more free, helping our offense, may have to play some defense in this game, strong defense. So that's a little bit of my concerns. Colerane's going to be the favorite out of Vegas, I'm sure. But
so without doubt, Coleraine will be the favourites to win it, of course. But
we're in great form.
Exactly. If I had been 3 weeks ago, you probably would have said yes, Coleraine will rest players, because they probably think they can rest players and still beat us. But with our form, they'll be thinking they need to play a strong side to beat us.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I think a couple of things to me shout out in the last broadcast. I think it was Noel was commenting on the changes that he's seen in the team, and I know we already touched on the long ball, but he's like, I've said like all season long, like we haven't seen people crash in the net, and we're seeing that, and we haven't seen like the turnaround on defense that we need to see, and we're starting to see that. And we have a midfield. I mean, we just haven't had one, and now we have a midfield. I mean, there's just so many things that are kind of clicking, and then lo and behold, you create opportunities that way, and now we find the back of the net as well. So a lot of things that are clicking on all cylinders right now. I think, personally, carrying the momentum, continue the momentum of that big Shield victory. I mean, it's going to go a long ways for us. These guys are feeling good. They're feeling hot. Yeah. Everybody's playing their part, and we're doing well.
I want to say, like, winning becomes a habit. Like, losing can be a habit too, but winning becomes a habit. So, and that's a good habit to have.
I think building slightly on Chris's point as well, what I will say is, And I think I'll go back again to that goal against Bangor, the Danny Gibson one. I actually don't mind being pressurised. I think we're starting to get the confidence now to beat teams on the break. Even though you're at home, there's nothing wrong with playing the game your way. And, Lecky, for all the fact he's a big lad, he's actually good on the floor. We've got probably Heatley back, and Danny. They're all good with the ball at the feet. And, a couple of decent balls through, again, as we're starting to see. Not too worried if they press too much. I think we've got the quality going forward now.
Yeah, and second chances. I mean, that's just something that wasn't heard of first part of the season. What was the comment pre-Christmas? I mean, we weren't, we were lucky to get an opportunity, let alone second chances. We're there. We've got numbers. We're on the net, and we're getting second chance goals, and that's going to win games.
Absolutely.
Next match is just a fixture. That's a Tuesday fixture. It's match 28 of 33, and that one is also at home. Lucky us. Against Glenavon, who happens to be holding the number 12 spot right now. What are we going to expect out of that one, Chris?
I expect an ass kicking. It could be a revenge game. That was a game we had no business losing 1-0 earlier this season when things weren't going quite as good. Now we're in better form. Hopefully if we play a good game in this cup, even if we lose 2-1, let's say, but we show up, we should still keep the confidence, as far as I'm concerned, because we've been strong in the league. And you can tell, Michael's, fruition's coming true. He said realistic expectations were 6. So we're there now, and we're going to want to do everything we can to hold that, especially we need some help with Cliftonville. We need some losses there. So we need to start scoreboard watching. But I foresee it. And they can put it in their locker room on the billboard that Chris from the podcast said it. We better take care of business.
It's actually nice that we're looking at people here 6th or 7th. Now, you're watching out for Cliftonville's score. 3 weeks ago, you'd be looking out for Glenavon's score. It's a nice sort of problem to have.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Yes, it is. What else, Gary? Is that
Although another thing, it'd be typical. I've watched Carrick 40 years. It'd be typical for Carrick to go into that game having beaten Coleraine on Saturday and having 6 wins out of 7, and then getting beat by Glenavon. It would be just typical. It'd be just like such a typical thing to do. But let's hope not.
Better not. Stephen Baxter better tell them in the locker room that we lost to them with no business. And we should be motivated. If we're not, I'm going to be very disappointed.
We're not all before. Early in the stage when they had no points after 10 games, they played us in their 11th game, and we all said the same thing. You know what's going to happen here, don't you? And it happened. So,
Martin,
stay grounded.
You got anything?
I think the thing I don't disagree with anything that's only been said so far, but what I will say is they're not as bad as they were when they beat us. So, in all seriousness, they have turned it around a little bit. They are a few points adrift still, and yes, we should beat them, and I would like to think we'd beat them well, particularly on what is potentially going to be another horrible night. Looking at the weather forecast on Tuesday. But yeah, football's it's not played on paper, unfortunately.
Yeah, and as Satan Greasy said back in the day, Martin, it's a funny old game.
It is a funny old game.
we should have told Uncle Rico he cannot come out of that cage until we win another.
I was just keeping there all the time anyway.
He might be. That might be where he lives. We don't know anything about him outside of the Christmas, so that might be where he lives. I think I go back to your comment earlier, Gary. And we've all watched it. I'd have no faith at all, except now we're finally past being able to hold a victory after the 80th minute, and so now I'm like, okay, now we can maybe bring this home. So let's move into what you two have been doing for so many people. I mean, there's lots of questions. I know Chris is going to hammer you guys here in just a second, but, there's a lot that's been going on. A lot of people may or may not know that Gary's been hard at it for many years and has quite a program going over there in Ireland. But now we're getting the international. I think, Martin, you said 3 nations currently. We're trying to build this thing to be a big grouping of folks that we can all kind of raise our flags together and be beating the drums, if you will, on game day. So why don't you tell us about, Gary, why don't you tell us about the Spirit of 76, how it got started, and maybe how you got into it?
Yeah, well, first of all, I watched Carrick all my life. I started going to Carrick 1983, I think it was, with me, my granda. My dad was a Carrick fan, so was my granda, and my great-granda played for Carrick back in the 50s or whatever it was. So I've always been a Carrick fan. I was first a member of the Premier Carrick Rangers Supporters Club, which was a club before the Spirit of 76. And it was going, well, before my time, even the 70s, 80s, 90s. And it fell away quite badly at the end of the 90s, early 2000s, when the club wasn't going well. Numbers dropped and a bit of interest sort of went, so it just sort of fizzled out. And then, obviously, a group of guys, we were still watching Carrick, but we didn't have a club as such. And then 2007, we decided then to form a new club for people to be part of and to try and raise money for the football club and arrange transport to get guys to go to support the team away from home, etc. So that's when we formed a new club, and we came across the name of Spirit of 76, obviously in recognition of the 76 Cup win. So that's when it was formed. And as I said earlier on, it was only about 15, 20 members for long enough. And it's only just recently it started to grow. So yeah, that's basically it. But our main goal is to raise money for the football club mainly. We do fundraising. We have sponsored walks, quiz nights, darts nights, and obviously we have the dugout as well. So we all have the same goal, raising money for the football club, and you know, so it's going well, you know. But yeah, so I'd say that, you know, if Martin gets this, well, he will get the ICS club set up. So again, we can start working with him, and we can work together to achieve more goals. And, you know.
Go ahead, Chris. I know you've got a few things.
Yeah, Gary, I was going to ask you, and Martin, if any of these questions ever affect ISC as well, feel free to jump in afterwards as well. But if you could ask, you know, the club one thing that could be improved on the supporters' experience during the game day, what would it be?
So, Dr. Martin or me?
To you, Gary. But Martin, we're just now starting up, so I don't think he can answer that one until we're there at the owners' meeting. But for you, Gary, what is one of the things that if you had a chance to ask Michael right now or Peter, one of the things that the club could do to improve the supporters' experience at the games, what would you like to see?
That's a difficult one. We do talk to Michael and Peter, you know, quite a lot anyway. Obviously, they've got the funding coming through for the new stadium, so the facilities aren't very good. So we'd like to see improvement in the facilities, but we know that's going to come anyway. And we do obviously want to try and get more supporters through the door on a Saturday or a Tuesday night, whatever. So maybe is there any more they can do to attract supporters? You know, because if there's more people coming in the door, obviously the attendance will go up, obviously, but we'll get more people in our club and get them engaged. But our problem with getting new fans in is, you know, as Martin knows, Carrick is quite close to Belfast, so there's a lot of fans who are Linfield, Glentoran, Crusaders fans. So it's hard to get them in, but we should maybe be trying a bit harder to try and to do something to try and get younger fans, especially, into the turnstile. So they come down, they're going to bring their parents. You know, and it only takes, you know, if you bring 100 people in the turnstile, if 5 stay for 10 years, you know, it's still more than, you know, it'll grow. So I don't know what they can do. Maybe get into the schools and maybe, you know, quid for a kid, those type of initiatives. So we do talk about this with members of the club, and I think everybody's on the same page, and they are trying to achieve this.
Can I stay here for a second, Chris? So a question I guess I would have, with you having so much history there, I've mentioned it many times, like everybody loves a winner. And here we are, the Spirit of 76 probably got real, thrust when they won the Irish Cup. Here now we've got some hardware, we've got some supporters, we got some things going. Do you see us winning games and certainly some hardware as being, okay, that will kind of naturally start bringing some folks back in? Or do you see that people are just kind of this hardcore, Belfast team supporter, and that's nice, Carrick. We've even heard people live there in Carrick and still would rather go to games down the road.
Well, that's the idea. Obviously, a team has to be successful to bring supporters in. There's no point being bottom of the league because no one's going to go and watch it. So by being successful, hopefully people do start coming in. So that's the idea. Yeah. So, but it's. Even when one was putting out their stage, the very next game, it wasn't a noticeable increase in the gate, which was disappointing, So it's, but I think, if we compete with it, especially when there'll be a big crowd on Saturday because it's Irish Cup. So if you win that game, cup games sort of attract people as well because it's a bit of a, it's a cup, So if they can win that one, maybe a few more come in for the next Korean match the week after and steadily build from there. But the problem is the Catholic population of Carrickfergus are from Belfast, and even the kids they watch Linfield and Glentoran because their dads watch Linfield and Glentoran, and their dads watch Linfield and Glentoran. So it's trying to get them down and get them hooked is the thing. So you need to get the kids in somehow and keep them in.
100%.
So that's what we have to do. And as you say, you win trophies. That's it's obviously going to be positive.
I think that's why so many of us are behind the idea of the academy and the women's league, or the women's teams doing so well. It's just, I think that a lot of us are in it for the long haul, if you will, and the legacy. And there's real opportunity here. And I agree. I think the kids are going to start filling the seats, if you will. So, Chris, what else you got for us?
Chris, can I dive in very quickly? Because one of the things I think as well, just on that, is because the TV coverage is very, very different to, what a lot of the international supporters are used to. There is one game live every week. That's it. And BBC Northern Ireland, rightly probably from their point of view, they focus on who's at the top. And generally, it's the 4 full-time teams. And out of those, a lot of them are in Belfast. By winning and actually continually being in the top 6, even if that's our aim, there'll be more TV games, which gives you greater exposure. And that's where you stand a chance of getting these kids, instead of watching Linfield every week, and if they're not going, they're watching them on Friday night on BBC Northern Ireland or whatever. The exposure by being on TV more often, by being successful, brings its own rewards. So that is another element to it, I think, of winning games and being consistent.
And that's a very good point, Martin, because people do tend to watch football on TV rather than going out to watch it. That's the other thing I was going to say. There's that much live football on Sky Sports. You get a live game Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, every night of the week. So it's hard to get them out to watch a live game. They want to watch it on TV. But as you say, if Carrick were near the top and they were winning trophies, then they'd be on TV, so people would actually see them, and that might then bring them to the ground after that. But they will have to get there first.
Yeah, my apologies, Chris.
Gary, so what are some of the, this will be a two-part, so Martin can chime in also on this. What are some of the traditions and rituals that define the group on match day? And then Martin, this part for you, since we're not going to be there in person, what kind of traditions may our group have? Or is that something you and Gary bounce about and talk about?
Well, say a traditional, we don't have a tradition as such. We just sort of get together, obviously, before the match and after the match, and have a few beers, if you like. So that's mainly what you do.
That's tradition.
Yeah. Well, it's a good tradition. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But actually, on cup days, we actually have an Irish cup breakfast. So this Saturday, we're all meeting at 10:30 in the morning, and we're going to have an Ulster fry, as you call it. So we'll do that. and then hopefully we get past Korean in the quarterfinals. We'll have another like Irish Cup fry, and hopefully all the way to the final. So there's things like that there, but we always, you know, we're all good friends in the club, so we do like socialising together. So we don't just go to match and go home. We all have a beer before the match, get on the bus, a bit of crack, as you say, and then see if we get it. That's another thing. If you do get beat after the match, you come into the dugout and you're a bit down in the dumps, but you have a beer and you're talking to your mates, and yeah, sure, the world's good again. But there's no traditions as such. It's just, you know, it's just the camaraderie and the friendship which keeps it ticking over.
Yeah, and it is a really, really friendly place. So, you know, the first time I walked in the door, you know, lots of people asking who are you, you know, why the hell have you come all the way? Oh, yeah. Why have you flown over to a game? Yeah, you know, and I went on the bus the first game of the season. That was brilliant. And just to sort of pick up in terms of what we want to do, I think one of the minor things I hope the ISC does quite quickly is just get a flag. Flags are quite a big thing, and probably even more so in Northern Ireland than they are, you know, back in England where I am. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I'd love us to have a nice ISC flag to go with the Spirit flag. I think I would like to see us as an ISC actually input to Spirit by maybe, you know, and these are things that I need to talk to Gary and Spirit about. And this is why it was very important to me that Spirit were cool about having a different supporters club for the international supporters. Right. You know, and Gary and the guys got behind it straight away and said, yeah, great, you know, get on with it. And I'd like to see his input to the Spirit by maybe having a couple of our own memberships, just generic, so that when people come over from the States, they can go in the dugout. I mean, they can anyway, but, you know, actually we've got a presence. Yeah. And it's a great.
Oh, Martin.
No.
Right in the middle. He had us.
The cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, but he's right there. You know, it's a very friendly place, and it's when you come over in March, make sure you get is it away game or home game? Are you here for the home game or away game?
Home game.
Then home Linfield. That's right. Yeah. Well, make sure you come over. Come down about 2:00 and have a few beers before the match, and then again after. Yeah, there he is. He's back.
You want to finish your comment?
Yeah, no, I would say so. Yeah, it's brilliantly friendly, and it's little things to me that show how important these supporters clubs and things can be. There's apologies if I get his name wrong, Gary, but Keith, isn't it, who has a struggle. Yeah, he's not as great on his feet anymore. You know, he's getting on and whatever. And recently, one of the lads, you know, made a step so he can get on the coach easier. You know, and they're the sorts of things that just morph and happen. And that's hopefully where I see the ISC eventually being. You know, one of the things I talked about is tradition-wise, I would love, and people are starting to put those locations in now and say, oh, I'm in so-and-so. Oh, you're in the same state, or, you know, whatever. I'd love to see us have some watch parties in, you know, sort of the sense that guys get together as sort of almost like separate booster clubs in a particular state or city or whatever. And that if they can't get over to Carrickfergus, and we know it's not easy, you know, they're together to watch that game.
Yeah, and I've noticed some of our newer members have come in. Like you'd have seen them outside on a match day, you know, watching the match. But since they become members of the club, they're now spending more time in the dugout with us because they enjoy the friendship and the crack. So you know, it's all good, all good.
The crack.
With an eye.
Well, what else? Any more to touch on there, Chris, before we move on?
As Captain America says, I can do this all day. So,
we got him. Captive audience. I say hit him, man.
Let's go. Hey, so what's some really a good memory for the group, and what's the best grounds to go visit to on an away game?
Memories. There's loads of memories, not all good. You know, But obviously, you got to remember winning the trophies. You know, no matter what level. Like I remember 1993, the County Antrim Shield. Obviously, the first game I remember was actually the first game in the Irish League, 1983 against Crusaders in August. I went with my granddad, but I don't remember much about the match. But I remember the players coming out at the start and kicking orange footballs into the ground, and I got one into the stands, you know, and I got this orange football. So you remember things like that where it was very small, and then 93 winning the County Antrim Shield, 2011 they won the treble, and junior wasn't the senior level, it was junior, so they won the St. Sons Cup on Christmas Day, and then towards the end of the season they won the league and the Intermediate Cup within 2 minutes of each other, which is weird because we were playing the Intermediate Cup final, and Heatley scored this before he left to go to Crusaders. Heatley scored to win the game, but at the same time Limavady, I think it was, were their closest team in the league. They were second and they didn't win their game in the league that night, which meant we won the league at the same time, and that was within 2 minutes. We won the league and the Intermediate Cup together. It was amazing. No one will ever forget it. Like. And then again, 2015, I think it was, St. Sons Cup final again, which is played on Christmas Day, which is very strange. You know, it's the only game I think ever in the world is played on Christmas Day. It's the most prestigious junior cup in Northern Ireland. We won that against, I forget who we played. I should know that, but I can't remember. But they won that, and that was another good memory. But I also remember getting beat 12-1 by Dungannon, which wasn't very nice, you know.
12-1.
Yeah. We're actually, they scored first, we equalised, and then they scored more. Bizarre, you know. And then I remember one other time against Newry way back in late 80s, I suppose it was. We got beat. I think we got hammered 6-1. Adrian Hack would tell me better because he remembers everything. But their left back scored 5 goals. Like, what? How does a left back score 5 goals? So you've good memories and you've got bad memories, you know. So, but you know, you can look back and laugh now and talk about this sort of thing. But 12-1 was like.
There was a really interesting one cropped up on one of the groups today about, and it's hard to imagine, you know, particularly now, but back then, of the story was something, Gary, wasn't it? That there was an expected 3G pitch coming, and the grass wasn't too brilliant. So, yeah, was it? It was after the end of the season, was it? There was a Supercross bike.
Yeah. Again, I'm not very good with timelines, but it was again maybe 10 years ago. Say, I think it was 10 years ago, 2015. Michael Hughes, you remember Michael Hughes?
Northern Ireland International, yeah.
He came across. He played for Carrick as a 16-year-old, and he came back after retired, and he became the owner of the club before Peter. And he had agreed to build this new 3G pitch on the main pitch. So of course we thought, well, let's have a fundraising event, and we a guy who was a member, I wasn't actually a member, but he was a Carrick fan. He was also like a motocross, racer. So we decided to have a motocross event on the pitch. Properly dug up with rails and everything. So it was completely wrecked, obviously. And then the whole thing, after having surveys and all done, they decided they couldn't actually put the 3G pitch where the main pitch was. So and then we ended up having to play at Seaview for a season, which wasn't great. And then for years after that, when they did get it flattened and relayed it wasn't great for a few years. And we had many nights down at the ground having to try to cover it up with tarpaulins to make sure the rain didn't get in. So, but imagine having a motocross event on your main pitch.
I just think it's a great story for people who listen to you guys regularly on here. You know, and it's just. It's mind blowing.
It was nobody. At the end of the day, it was. It sounds bizarre, but it was nobody's. Well, maybe the owner. I don't know what happened, but it was nobody's fault. We did actually think that the pitch was going to get relayed as a new 3G pitch, but it didn't happen. But as it turned out, we did get the 3G pitch anyway. It was laid, but it's actually the training pitch, which is behind the town end stand. That's the training facility we have. So it was actually, we did get it, but just not where it was supposed to be. So.
And I think as investors, what Gary's just said there to me really puts our first 12 months as investors, maybe a little longer, into perspective, we're here and we're talking about we've already won a cup, and some of us were lucky enough to be there. This isn't, I hate to say it, hopefully it will be in the future, but it's not the norm, is it, Gary? winning silverware isn't,
That's it. It's easy, this game. Actually, I think last January we scored 1 goal last January. This January we scored 19.
Man,
isn't that mad?
Chris loves the stat as well, don't you, Chris?
Well, maybe it might have been 19 with a few days into February, Close enough.
So one thing I noticed, I know time's getting short here, but one thing hasn't been mentioned. We talk about not all the memories are good for the Rangers, but the Falcons, since we've been along, seems like there's a lot of good memories, and we just hired Fiona Mooney, who looks like the perfect manager to lead us. But it seems like a lot of good memories so far with the Falcons. We've been getting promoted. What's your thoughts on them? Do you all support their team as well?
Well, to be fair, I haven't watched them at all, but that's a bit to do because they played down in Macramorn. They played near Larne, so it's not easy to get to. So we're always saying if they come back up and played in Carrick, they get a lot more supporters, and they would get backing, And I think with the new pitch now, and I don't know, maybe I'll speak to Peter, but or he can advise. But the new pitch, I believe, is the right. I think the size of the pitch wasn't right or something, so they couldn't play there. No, not the main pitch, but the 3G pitch. But it's been relayed and it's now the right size. So we're hoping that they'll play more of their games in Carrick and not 2 miles from Larne, if you like.
And that I believe that's true as well.
If they play in Carrick and even on the main pitch, people who might not be avid supporters of every week, they'll go down in passing, and they'll obviously take in the big games and they'll go watch them more than they have been previously.
I was lucky enough last year now, isn't it? The end of last season, I was lucky enough to get over. My first game at Taylor's was the relegation playoff second leg against Stanley United, which took place on the Saturday, and the Friday night I was lucky enough to be able to get to the ladies' game when the Falcons actually won the division. And the passion that they've got, I think, coupled with what Fiona Mooney's got and what she's done, I think is really exciting from that part of the club. And as I think you said before, it's about, that's the interesting thing, I think, about the international side is, particularly with the American side of it, you're far more used to the women's game being the norm, within a club or, people playing, than probably in England or Northern Ireland, So the fact that there's a passion there for the Falcons as well, I think bodes well for what we as an ISC can do for them as well as the men's team. And then, when we get the academy all, hopefully as Peter and Jody and everybody wants it, the same goes there. Even if it's little things like being able to, put a sponsor a patch on a sleeve, if we can contribute, we all feel like we're putting something in, great, and hopefully that, we can have a bit of pride in all of that.
Yeah. It's a bit disappointing what happened with Ben leaving, so it's a bit of a, it's going to be a bit of a challenge now, so let's hope they can rise to it.
And that was a result, really, wasn't it, of the rise, because unfortunately Ben hasn't got the UEFA A, is it, or whatever, the coaching qualification to stay with it, and that's a real shame, because Ben's done a fantastic job there.
He did indeed, yeah.
Well, I think we've touched on it before, but like for those of us, like you said, across the pond, those of us that are investors, like it's important, I think, to grasp the concept of we own all of this. Like we are owners, and to own the girls' game and to own the academy. I mean, to me personally, that's important. It's a part of the game. I know those of us at the podcast, we've committed because we intend to go year round, and in the off season, we've got the ladies and the academy boys to cover. We're going to be getting some unique and exclusive content sent to us. from those specific, games and seasons. And so there's nothing but excitement, I think. And it's troubling to me to see, but I know people are the way they are. But like Martin today, I saw the one with the guy. I mean, you have remained approachable. I'm sure, Gary, you're approachable too. But the one that's just like, so. Some people are like looking for their dividends and investment, or some people are like, "What, you're monetizing like a club?" It's just like there's no grasp of that concept. What do you have to say about that? Those folks.
Well, it takes all sorts.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it does. It doesn't. I think the pleasing thing for me, and one of the reasons that I was more than happy to, wanted to do the ISC stuff, is that there are far more people who see this not as an investment to make money, but as an investment to make a difference. And I see Michael being the same way. This is not a group of owners, investors, whatever you want to call it, who are going to come in and asset strip. And the Cliftonville's a really interesting one, isn't it, Gary? That they've been in talks with this Toronto investment group. And I think they were really concerned, their supporters, who are just as passionate and whatever, they felt that they were coming in for the wrong reasons, and that deal's fallen down. It's important that we maintain this stance and continue to vocalize that we're not here to strip anything. We're not here to take over. We're here to build and make this club the best it possibly can be, for the people of Carrickfergus as well. The Spirit do some great work. When the community side starts up, Spirit and us will be able to contribute to that in some way, and that's really important too.
Yeah. Well, from our side, looking at you guys coming in, it's an obvious different model from a normal investment takeover, if you like, and it's very fresh and it's very welcome, and we're all very excited about it.
We're happy to be
again.
here.
I thought, we all thought you were a bit crazy at the start. Like, what?
At the start,
we're not all in Puerto Rico.
It's not Glasgow Rangers, it's not Glasgow Rangers, it's Carrick Rangers.
All right. Well, Chris, you touched on one of our topics. The other one, did you want to mention the NIFF money, the business case money?
Well, yeah, it just looked like another hurdle was passed today. It was just an offer fund letter. I think it's £10,000. It's not part of the capital fund. It's separate from that, but anything we can get. I guess we're in a stage we have to present a business case, right? So I just think that's going to be a big thing for the whole league. It sounds like, not just us, but so.
And that was the only comment that I wanted to make on that, is if you've looked at that release that they had, it was really exciting, because the folks that are on that list a lot of them are in our league, and that's only going to do great things for our entire league. That's exciting. I would love to have, everybody playing. Well, maybe not everybody, but a group of us playing at some substantial, environments and pitches, and just like you talked about, Gary, being able to provide that for the spectator experience. I mean, that just lifts everybody. So
it does, yeah. It does,
good stuff.
Yeah.
So last but not least, go ahead, please.
No, I was just going to say, I thought you were going to finish up there. Just let you know that the club with ourselves are arranging a 1976 Irish Cup dinner in April to commemorate the 50th anniversary of winning the Irish Cup. So it's going to be a gala night, and we're going to invite some of the players from that team. You're going to be there as well, and the current players, board supporters, will all be there. So it's going to be a very exciting night for us, and we're all looking forward to that.
Oh wow!
So if you can extend your stay by another month, you're very welcome.
There you go, Chris.
There you go,
man.
That's good.
So that's going to be our big. That's something we're doing with the club, together. So we're all looking forward to that in the golf club.
Yeah, hopefully we can do something like that in the future, Martin. Maybe, when we're all together at the Owner Summit, have some type of special commemorative dinner of some sort. That'd be great.
Well, it's super exciting because it's probably it's 50 years. I think it's very worthy. We have to make sure it's remembered. Because the next big anniversary is another 10 years on, and no one's getting any younger. So I think it's a perfect time to do it. And I think there's a good lot of players who are played in '76 who want to be there with their, so awesome. Yeah, it's going to be class. Yeah.
Yes. One of the things personally for me, since I've been involved with this, and I've learned so much, that town hall is really a great thing. If you're an investor and you have access to that, you learn so much as a U.S. investor. Because I'm like, why was our attendance down? Why is that? Early on, people from there, such as yourself, Gary, and everybody else, taught me so much about the pulse there, what was going on locally. That is not really an easy task. That made me think too, because I heard there's a lot of Glasgow Ranger fans in our area too, and their supporters club. I think it was Peter was telling me is right near our stadium. Do you ever interact with them?
The Glasgow Rangers
ideas?
The Glasgow Rangers? No.
Yeah,
not really.
Yeah, yeah. Their chapter's right near our stadium. I heard.
Oh.
So. I'm like, we need to be a feeder club. We need a relationship with them. They could send whoever's not playing on their bench over to us. We could get some good talent. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Makes the same name, Rangers. It works good. Yeah. Close proximity. You can get there quick. Get more fans.
I don't think I say about the town hall, the WhatsApp group. It's definitely the best source of getting updates when you're not at the match. It's by far the quickest. You're getting updates in there before it hits any of the score apps. Somebody will go goal or yes or something like before anybody else. I think because I wasn't at the Portadown game, but the phone was always pinging, and it was always the town hall app that pinged first.
We always have to talk a little bit different in that group, though, than we do in the Carrick Owners Forum. There are people a little bit more critical, whereas I know, like, Michael's watching. I don't want to see that.
Michael's a pussy here. He's a big pussy cat. Maybe all right.
So moving into our last one, we can't forget to mention our EA campaign. And so I know, Chris, this is kind of a baby of yours, but it would be kind of cool to get to some perspective from the two clubs as well. So what's some updates there, Chris? What can you share with us?
So I don't know, Gary and Martin, if you play that game, and those that play it that are watching telecast are still hanging with us. But look, if you want to be in the game, I don't know if you ever played it. If you ever created Carrick Rangers in the game, it takes hours. And you got to put their stats in. You got to put their names in. You can't put the exact uniform. So it's actually a big pain in the ass. I've done it before, and it'll take all night, and I'll stay up till 4 or 5 in the morning. And then that game's got bugs as it is. But, but still, if we go in as rest of the world, we don't have to do that crap anymore. Everything's in there. Our uniforms, our players with pretty accurate stats. The roster, and hopefully we get Stephen Baxter in there too, with his beanie on. But that's what I'd like to see.
And a bowler suit.
And that's right. But I looked today. We've only, my target was 2,000. I wasn't being realistic because I seen how we were on the surveys that the club sends out on telecast. They don't get the response that you want. But if you want to be in the game, we're going to need more than 18 stories. I have 18 stories. I know it's been probably a few weeks, but we're going to need more than that. I'm going to start sending these over to our own Scotty Kelly because I know he needs to work on a case study, and I'm going to send them over to our contact, Harry, who knows the people at EA. But, I really want us to make a statement. I mean, we can continue to just keep creating them and putting them in there and it not being 100% accurate. Especially I've been trying to do like Adam Lackey's face. It's kind of hard. I can do his height. But I'll just give him a good aerial threat. But I'm just saying, if they're already there, it's so great. And look what it did for Wrexham. Wrexham got in and everybody thinks it's a Ryan Reynolds and Rob thing or whatever. But their fans, when I talked to Harry about this, their fans did send in a lot of stuff to EA. And also, if you're a big fan of the Ted Lasso show, AFC Richmond was in the game under Rest of the World. And that's where we need to be. And if we have this many investors, I expect more emails. Every investor should send an email. You know, I know probably some don't care. Like my wife is an investor. She probably doesn't give a damn. But she should if she wants me to quit staying until 4 a.m. putting Carrick Rangers in the game and come to bed, she should care. So I don't know, Gary and Martin, if you could get the word out, that would be great. And also, one of my concerns has been bridging the gap between U.S. investors and fans that live there in Carrickfergus. We're all the same. We're all in this together, and this isn't just an owner investor thing. This is fans of Carrickfergus that go to the games and buy the merchandise. They need to send their stories too. It's open to them. That email is CRFC INEAFC, and that's CRFC in EAFC, and that's IN, not N. CRFC INEAFC at gmail.com. Send your story in. It needs to have a lot of passion.
Okay, I'll put that into our group. I
really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. You know,
I haven't played FIFA since I think my last time I played FIFA was like FIFA 98 or something. A long time ago.
Would you play it again if we were in the game?
I'll have a go at it, yeah, why not?
Even better. You know what I just thought of?
Is it available? Is it available?
Stadium. What if the Spirit of 76 is in the damn game?
Is it available?
There you go.
Is it available to PlayStation 1?
Drum. I'm telling you, let's do it.
Could have it on in the dugout. Couldn't we go? Get it on in the dugout.
What here? It could be another fundraiser. We could have a FIFA night.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
We'll have a FIFA night in the dugout. Why not?
Yeah.
Well, you talk about bringing the kids in, though, and this is
exactly,
a serious topic. Like, I mean, I'm telling you, like, we need to make a short of Junior last time telling Gary, look, FIFA, I mean, it's an expectation. They should be in the game. Like, I mean, this is the youth.
Okay.
That's what they do.
We'll have a FIFA. I still call it FIFA. We'll have a FIFA night in the dugout, and we'll get those. I'll put it into the group as well about the stories. No problem.
Yeah. Hey, Vance, like, tell Junior if he tells his entire school about it, send it to the email. I will buy him that game personally for him, so he doesn't have to pay for
the next season.
If I
He's
put
already
it
got
in,
we're in
anyone as well?
27, 28. God, I hope 27. It's not too late. That's why I'm kind of like, let's get going here. And
Yeah, the code can't be that hard.
Michael wants us to be a global brand. This is, I know it sounds kind of funny, but it really is a big deal. If you think about it, that's part of your global brand. All of a sudden, you have eyes on Carrick in the game, and there's a lot of influencers on YouTube that play career mode. And this would be a challenge. We're not going to have a big budget. This is the kind of thing those influencers like to say and recommend us play with these kind of teams. And then, you know, our sponsor here, if they're all of a sudden getting more eyes on them, that's probably more money for us. So
That's a great comment there too. And speaking of sponsors,
go
ahead. No, go.
No, I was going to say. So I'm going to bang the ISC drum here. So hands up, all those that are either a member or have an application form to be a member.
Have an application? Yeah, you sent it to me.
I got my number today. All family.
That's all right. So beat the drum. You know, we want to build our brand as well. You know, and make a difference and be able to make a difference for Spirit. And you know, so yep.
I was thinking you'd probably having the name Spirit in your name. You'd have Spirit 26 when we win the Irish Cup.
Well, it may get changed. Yeah, this is it. You know.
And actually, I haven't said much about this. I was going to talk to Michael at some point. So I also have a fan ownership in a club in the Ishman Premier League called Lewis F.C. Things have kind of changed quite a bit there. But early when I was involved in there from the States, I used to run some fundraisers, and I would get people to participate. And, you know, with the help of both these supporters clubs, there's things we can do for fundraisers also globally. Like I used to do simple things like you take a player, and every time they score a goal or have an assist in the game or there's a clean sheet, if you take a goalie, you would contribute a certain amount of money if you could afford to do it. that goes a long way. Every little bit helps. So that's something that we could do. I know. I think Van Syke was getting ready to touch on some sponsorship stuff that he's going to share with you. Those are things that we can do as owners. We're supposed to be an asset for the club to do. So I know I sound like a big cheerleader a lot of times for this kind of stuff, but it does make a difference. They have like trivia night things. They meet in the pub. So like the dugout, maybe we can get a trivia night there. I think if Court could get a hookup at the dugout and have a concert and give some proceeds to the club, I'm telling you, there's things there that can happen. You just got to be outside the box. You got to be creative.
Yeah.
Well, I think sharing the ideas, that's why we have the clubs. This is exactly the dialogue, those of you viewing, that Martin and Gary are open to. This is the type of conversations that, we like to have around the club, and it's our team, and, we want to have that kind of ownership. What we like to refrain from is, when's am I getting my dividend, or rah, rah, rah. Let's talk about something a little more valuable than that. So no, I was just going to pay the bills, because we were in a perfect segue with the EA Sports and the video game to talk about Tecmo Bowl. And some of you know that we've got a big game coming up in the U.S. here. The Super Bowl is right around the corner. Oh, yeah. And so Tecmo Bowl, somebody ran an emulator, and they got the Seahawks 25 and New England 21. So I was going to get everybody's pick for the game, and then I was going to say, you better, Luker, you better get your bets in and support our sponsor. If you're choosing to get in a sports book, we've got some great opportunities in there for you for a pretty significant match. I think, as I understand it, that's one of the biggest matches that is out there. So, if you are going to play, you'd better get your bets in on the Super Bowl, and you might choose this platform to do it. So, I'm going with this. Who's everybody got?
I know nothing about it.
Who's here for us? Better pick that way.
I think I better go for the Seahawks.
Yeah, good answer. And I know my boy Martin's in there. What do you got? What do you got, Chris?
Well, that's funny you mentioned Tecmo Bowl score. That's pretty close to the actual spread. I think I saw 4.5 earlier at one point. So that's pretty good. But we've played. I'm a Texan fan, unfortunately, and we played both teams, so I've seen them. What they're made of. I would say Seattle's going to win. They have size, speed. They have a really good defense. Probably the best defense we went up against all year. And also Sam Darnold, there's something about him, seems like he's destiny this year. That kind of quarterback.
A little bit.
He's a little bit of a destiny. So, and there's a little bit, I think, New England sometimes can be a little overrated if you look at some of the analytics that they've done. I know y'all pulling for Seattle. I'll probably pull for New England because Marcus Jones plays for them. He's a U of H graduate, and I used to watch him in college, so I have a bit of a rooting interest there. But and I like to see if they can win without Brady and Belichick. It's kind of nice to see. But I would think Seattle's going to win.
Yes,
May is no joke. We got to give you credit where credit's due. May is no joke. We'll be watching him in the future, but sorry, buddy. This time it's a retribution game. This is happening. Go Hawks. So for our final thoughts this evening, we're just gonna go around and let's hear from everybody. What's on your mind to send us away? Martin, what do you got?
I think it's stick with the guys. We're going to hit. If you've been around long enough, even just this season, you'll know we'll go on some runs, good and bad. So just stick with them. Saturday's a great game to look forward to. Cup games are always brilliant. I don't know. It's not quite the same in the States, and I never feel with the MLS Cup or whatever. But people like me and Gary, the Cups they're just something special. Yeah. This is where teams from absolutely nowhere can end up playing the big teams, as you guys, will follow it in the States. The EPL, So yeah, go Rangers.
Yeah,
well, cheers.
As you say, Martin, in our day, the FA Cup and the Irish Cup is it's a big event. You know, the cup days are always something special. So I'm looking forward to Saturday and can't wait for it. Looking forward to it. But I'm looking forward to going to bed as well. Like.
We've kept you up long enough, my friend. You have been awesome. We appreciate it. Chris, what do you got for us?
Hey, just want to see the same run of form we've had. You know, wherever Steven's doing, buttons he's pushing, it's working. Just keep the same form. You know, like I said, everybody loves a winner. I think more people start coming out to our games if we keep winning. And the cup game is a big deal because there is that qualifying. And like Gary was saying, there's nothing like a cup experience. It is a lot different. We don't have that here, but you notice that in the FA Cup over in England when you watch matches over there. So I would say do that, but don't sleep on the league games too. I mean, we've fought hard to get to where we're at in the table.
Well, as I say, your league games is your bread and butter. You know, your 3 points are gained. They're not lost. They're there on the table all season. Cup games can come and go, but your league's your bread and butter.
100%. Now, the only thing I can add is I'm looking for all kinds of points for the next week. Let's go. I'd love to see. Let's move on toward the cup. I mean, 2026, I'm riding that out. Let's take home some more points in the table. Let's continue to ride that momentum. And really, really wonderful to have you guys on tonight. Thank you so much for staying up late with us. For everybody out there, thank you for indulging us on a lengthy episode. But when we have quality content, we want to bring it to you here first. So for everybody here, it's your boy Van Slyke on the mic up in the Arctic Antrim, where it's still blazing daylight. Thank you so much for joining us. Court, send us out.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you.